We'd like to welcome you to BeMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. American League East champions. Marc Clarke, you witnessed the game. How are you, sir?
He was there when they clinched the championship. No, man, it was great, man. What a great night, hanging out with you and friends, and then a win. Come on now, and clinch. Come on, O's. We've been, many years when the O's were terrible. And so it's great to see that they're back. It's so funny. I remember we did a report talking about how great the farm system was. And then sure enough, I guess that was last season. And then momentum started, and now look, we could win imagine if we win a world championship, we lose Brooks Robinson, who, Donnie, you can tell me, but what I found, I'm not from Baltimore, but I've been in Baltimore a long time. I thought it was interesting how the black community seemed to love this guy.
Brooks.
Yeah, and why was that? Why was that?
First, he was an awesome third baseman.
Yeah.
But you could tell that he did not have a racist bone in his body.
And he was from the South. That was interesting.
He was cool with Frank Robinson.
Yeah, well, I talked to Ray Banks, the Negro League historian, who says that Brooks is his favorite player, number 5, even though he's all into Negro League history, and he said that that it was in fact Brooks Robinson helped Frank Robinson get his home.
So they took
in
pictures,
66.
yes, because they would not rent or sell a home to a black player, including Frank Robinson. They had to make phone calls, and I think eventually, according to David Miller's brother Peter, God rest his soul, Peter told me the story of how he got his first home in Ashburton.
Interesting.
But you've been in Baltimore long enough to know what this victory means for the city. You've covered the good, the bad, and the ugly. So from your perspective, how does this pennant win fit in with the trajectory of Baltimore?
I think one of the things that you have to give up for Baltimore, and all you got to do is look down the street at D.C. and see how Baltimore fans are loyal fans. Even though we might moan and whatever, from the Ravens to the Orioles, we're going to be loyal fans, And so a win, the whole city's going to have walk with their chest out tomorrow, going to be excited for the next couple weeks as we head to, the World Series and the championship games. And so it definitely, when we win, we take it seriously. I never forget when I first came to town, how people would buy tickets. They may not send their kids to college, but they was going to the Orioles game or buying those seats at the Ravens. So it runs deep, man. The fanship runs deep in Baltimore, and we're very proud. And let's keep it real. People around the country can dog Baltimore, but you cannot deny our fan experience has to be in the top 3 for both football and baseball, right?
Tell
top
me about
3.
Where we are, Camden Yards.
Camden Yards. Again, Camden Yards, which really was the beginning of these style stadiums, right? It was an innovative stadium.
Look at the warehouse in the backdrop over there.
They incorporated the stadium into the city. I think our experience is so important because in Baltimore, you're going to see somebody selling food with no voice box out front. Get your hot dog, out of the house. Both for the Orioles and for the Ravens, it's the community, it's the people, it's the same thing we complain about. Probably is the same thing that makes Baltimore great.
Tell me about your morning show. What do you love about Be More Lifestyle and your various interviews?
Well, let me say, Donnie, you said the morning show, and of course you got a Big Fat Morning Show. I came to mind. I just want to share. When I went outside to the bar, I saw a teacher who was at the digital high school. And man, he almost got me. I almost teared up, Donnie, because his friend, he talked about how the Big Fat Morning Show gave him the vision and how listening to us inspired. And he said his grandmother would say, "Are you listening to Marc Clarke? Are you listening to what he's saying?" Man, it got me now.
If you cry right now, I'm gonna laugh.
It got me now.
You better not cry.
Because that's what we wanted. That's what it was all about. That's what it wasn't about us.
I remember the Big
us.
Fat Morning Show spent the night in Sandtown.
You always say that. Yes, we did.
Y'all spent the night over there in Sandtown by the 5-0 by Western District. Who knew?
92 hours apiece. 92 hours apiece.
Who knew years later that would be the site of international protests over Freddie Gray?
Yes.
But you won so much street cred. Was it Marva?
Me and Troy and Marva.
And Marva
Yeah.
and Troy. And look at Troy now. Who knew that you transitioned from radio to TV, including Troy?
Troy did it on radio. Troy went from being a radio entertainment DJ personality to being a news radio anchor to now being a television anchor in Mississippi, and then inspiring me to transition to television. So back to your original question, I think I love about it, Donnie, is getting out in the community. Getting out in the community. I'm not saying anything negative about the community. I'm not.
You walk these streets. You have street cred. If you walk on any street, see, you got people running for mayor who can't walk these streets. Nobody knows them. Yeah. If you walk these streets, if you walk through Sandtown, they would say, "Hi, Marc Clarke."
The people have always been super, super generous and nice and sweet. And the TV thing's funny because the TV thing is so it crosses the everybody from old ladies to whatever, firemen, policemen. People notice the TV thing. It's very powerful. But I'm enjoying it, man. Of course, again, I enjoy Baltimore. I love Baltimore.
But no, take me back just for a minute. Just one trip down memory road.
Trip down memory lane.
I remember the book you wrote. Something about a trampoline and all of that. But I'm talking about, you remember that?
I got 3 little children's books, yes, sir.
Big Daddy and
the Trampoline.
Yeah, I'll never
My
forget
3
that.
dogs.
But I ain't talking.
And my papa is. Yes.
I'm going up the road.
You going up yonder?
When you had to go to New York and you had to sleep in a Brooklyn basement, all I could think about was Notorious B.I.G.
Well, it was the Jamaica Queens basement, if you must know.
No. It was Brooklyn.
It was Flushing, Queens in the basement. But I lived for a short time. I rented a room in Jamaica, Queens. Well, Jamaica, Queens. I got off at midnight. They were like, whatever you do, do not walk after midnight. You better catch this. So I could not walk in the neighborhood at that time. And I left that room in Jamaica, Queens because, Donnie, you may not have been raised with roaches, but anytime you see the baby roaches, I was in the bathroom and saw those baby roaches. That was the final straw. Because if you see the baby roaches, mama and daddy are around. And so I moved to Flushing, Queens in the basement. And that was interesting because that was more of a Indian and Asian neighborhood. And so the Queens experience was
great.
Go ahead
and tell us, Mark, did you show up at work one day and a roach crawled out your pocket?
I grew up with water bugs and roaches. I ain't scared of them now, but I'm a grown man. I ain't gonna do that. No. It was so funny that I lived in Bethesda, but I was living in Jamaica, Queens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But and Donnie, you came by and saw us. And
well, actually, I met you in Brooklyn over at Weeksville.
You did, yes, at Weeksville. You did a Black Wall Street event.
Yes.
And we had a great time.
Yes.
And so,
but I'm proud of your hustle. The fact that you traveled, and your wife and your family, how you all stuck together. You made it up and down that road, and I was like, I got tired.
Yeah. No, it was a good experience, but
But
being
big
home.
up to your family and all of you for sticking together and supporting each other, even when you launched Marc Clarke Media down in Prince George's County.
Yep, out there. You came by to that too. Donnie, you've been there every step of the way.
Well, you've been there. You've been there for me likewise. So let's wrap it up. Your final thoughts on tonight. Orioles, American League East champions.
A magical night in Baltimore as the Baltimore Orioles clinch. And it's so ironic when you look on the wall there. Look at that. Look at that, Donnie. Is that a precursor for things to come?
Yes,
it could be.
News American. Do you remember the News American?
I do not remember the News American.
Yeah, we had the News American and the Sun.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
we always had the Afro, and thank God now we have BeMoreNews.com.
And with the news before the news, I am Marc Clarke reporting.